Welcome to Fine Spun Tales. In this edition, we are going on our ninth adventure with the crew of the USS Da Vinci. The ship is assigned to investigate a potential attack on a dilithium mining outpost. Let's begin. Captain David Gold and the crew on the USS Da Vinci receive a distress call from Bor Situ Miner, a remote planet with rich dilithium deposits and a small automated mining outpost. The outpost is experiencing catastrophic systems failures, and the ionized, corrosive atmosphere complicates rescue efforts. Sonia Gomez, the first officer, briefs the crew on the mission, detailing the need for a shuttlecraft landing and the challenges they will face, including the possibility of compromised transporters and shields. The away team, consisting of P-8 Blue, Corsi, and Solomon, is assigned specific tasks: structural analysis, computer system checks, and safety assessments. Meanwhile, Fabian Stevens prepares possible attack scenarios to identify any external threats. As the meeting concludes, the crew prepares for the mission, with Captain Gold ensuring additional medical support from nearby ships. Despite the tension, Gomez and her colleague Kieran Duffy share a light moment, planning to continue their interrupted lunch date later. The shuttlecraft Franklin, piloted by Corsi and her crew, enters Bor Situ's atmosphere amid an electrical storm. The team consists of P-8 Blue and Solomon. They head towards the outpost with weathered buildings, focusing on restoring power and shielding systems. Corsi skillfully navigates through turbulence, with P-8 Blue confirming normal matter-antimatter readings, but no shield readings. As they approach the outpost, they notice numerous holes drilled through the buildings. Landing in the damaged shuttle bay, they prepare to restore the shield generator. Despite the eerie environment and decomposed bodies inside, Corsi ensures the area is secure while P-8 Blue and Solomon work on the systems. They discover the emitter array has a large hole and quickly repair it, restoring the outpost's shields and air filtration. After the air clears, they step outside and see the full extent of the devastation. Amidst the ruins, Corsi detects 2 human life signs in the power station, the only building undamaged by the mysterious attack. They find 2 survivors in poor condition and prepare to transport them back to the shuttlecraft. Corsi contacts Gomez, updating her on the situation and arranging for medical assistance. Corsi reflects on the scene and the possible cause of the system failure as they prepare to bring the survivors to safety. The team's swift actions and repairs have stabilized the outpost, but the mysterious cause of the damage remains a concern. Back on the Da Vinci, Duffy waits in the shuttle bay with an impatient Sonia Gomez. They beam the 2 survivors directly to sickbay as soon as the Franklin clears the atmosphere. After finishing lunch, Sonia receives Corsi's call for a staff meeting, excluding the doctor. Corsi reports something damaged the outpost by creating holes in the buildings, allowing the external atmosphere to leak in, while the shields remained undamaged. Sonia realizes this could have major implications for Starship combat tactics. She decides to investigate with a full team. During the meeting, Fabian mentions the difficulty of finding a weapon capable of such damage. Sonia assigns tasks to the team. Fabian will inspect the damage firsthand, Solomon will work on the station's systems, and Duffy will assist in sifting through log entries. Sonia and Patty will examine the power station to understand why it wasn't hit. Corsi is to perform a full sweep of the area. Sonia also grants Corsi's request for a full security team. Before they head to the shuttle bay, Gold advises caution, and Sonia assures him they will be careful. As the Franklin lands in the outpost shuttle bay, Fabian and his team are momentarily stunned by the sight before them. After a brief moment, they shake off their surprise, unhook their safety harnesses, grab their gear, and split into teams for their assignments. Fabian, with Fernatz, a Bolian security guard, immediately inspects a nearby hole, using his tricorder to analyze it. He notes the irregularities in the hole's edges, concluding it wasn't caused by a beam or laser. Commander Gomez, Patty, and Hawkins join Fabian as he deduces the hole was made from the ground, not from an orbital attack, which helps narrow their search. After praising Fabian, Gomez and her team head towards the central core, while Fabian places emitters at the holes for further analysis. Duffy locates the transporter pad on the schematic and heads down with Solomon and Lipinski. They find 2 full-size transporter pads, one damaged, but the other intact. Despite the controls being in bad shape, Duffy identifies one functional console and begins transferring components to make it operational. Solomon works on bypassing damaged power relays, and soon after, they get the panels lit up. Running a diagnostic, Duffy successfully tests the system and informs Commander Gomez of the success. With the transporters online, they plan to link the system to their comm badges for quick evacuation if needed. After the successful test, Duffy and Solomon receive instructions to move to the command center to access files. Gomez reminds Duffy to maintain formality during duty, and with a grin, Duffy acknowledges, feeling the camaraderie in her voice. They proceed towards the command center, ready to tackle the next task. Sonia, Patty, and Hawkins examine the power station, puzzled by its intact state despite a recent attack. They speculate the attackers feared an explosion, as breaching the matter-antimatter generator would obliterate the outpost. Sonia contacts Corsai, who suggests gas could incapacitate the inhabitants by contaminating the air tanks, a chilling but plausible scenario. However, they realize the survivors suffered oxygen deprivation, not gas poisoning, raising more questions. Fabian, a tactician, explains that damaging the generator could trigger a catastrophic chain reaction due to the planet's dilithium deposits and highly charged atmosphere, potentially destroying the planet. This insight clarifies why the power station was left untouched. With limited clues, Sonia receives a call from Dr. Lenz informing her that the survivors are awake. She decides to interview them, delegating tasks to her team as she heads to meet the patients. Sonia and her team move towards the transporter, eager for first-hand accounts from the survivors. As they prepare to leave, Duffy lightens the mood with a playful challenge, prompting Sonia to join him in a light jog, ready to uncover more about the mysterious attack on the outpost. Fabian inspects the holes in the camp and inserts a replacement pipe for the filtration system through a wall, linking it to a hole in the next building. Noticing a faint ridge around the hole, he makes a note to investigate it later. Using his tricorder, he measures the hole's thickness and finds the hole in the adjacent building is identical. Smiling, he explains to Frenatz that patterns are key, despite Frenatz's skepticism about the repetitive work. Fabian then sets another emitter, typing in a frequency and placing it in position, still amused by the patterns he observes. Commander Sonia Gomez and Lieutenant Commander Kieran Duffy meet two engineers, Alex Volk and April Richter, in the sickbay. The engineers, survivors from Bor Situ Minor, describe their team as small and close-knit, with only a dozen people, including miners, engineers, security, and scientists. April shares that the camp, known as Acid Camp, was quiet and their main task was maintaining systems and monitoring mining operations. The engineers explained they didn't have valuable supplies like dilithium, as new shipments arrived regularly. Alex and April recount the day of the attack. They were on shift when they heard screams and a strange humming noise. They saw chaos and holes in the walls, and the camp's shields were down. In a panic, they hid in the power station and passed out from lack of filtered air. They woke up in sickbay, lucky to be alive. Sonia and Kieran, after gathering this information, find themselves at a loss for explanations for the attack. Despite the lack of clear answers, they express gratitude to Alex and April for their insights. Kieran suggests they regroup with their team to brainstorm further and offers Sonia a drink to lighten the moment, bringing a smile to her face. Fabian is inspecting the outlying buildings of the small outpost. After setting an emitter on a hole in the back wall of one building, he examines a similar hole in the building to the left. Noticing differences in the ridges of the holes, Fabian inserts a pipe through the hole, finding it goes through a supply cabinet on the other side. He tries to align the direction of the holes, but realizes they don't match up at this point. Fabian sets another emitter and continues his investigation around the building, while Frenatz follows him, observing with amusement. Fabian attaches tiny emitters to each hole in the outpost's center square, linking them to a frequency to map the attack pattern. He explains to Sonia that the emitters create a 3D model of the outpost, showing colored lines that represent the attack trajectories. This analysis suggests multiple attackers or a very complex attack pattern, as a single ship couldn't have created such varied angles and distances. Sonia acknowledges the progress and assigns Fernats to help Fabian analyze the holes for stress and corrosion to determine the order of the attacks. Sonia then joins Kieran and Solomon at the command post. They find that the station logs align with the survivors' accounts. The outpost was a quiet place with no valuable items or unusual activities. The attackers didn't target the power station, which remains untouched. They speculate that the motive might be linked to the scientists' work on new mining methods, suggesting someone could have wanted this knowledge badly enough to attack the outpost. Considering the possibility of a significant scientific breakthrough being the motive, Sonia instructs Kieran to delve deeper into personal logs and scientific records. She emphasizes that understanding how the outpost was wiped out is crucial, and Solomon continues to comb through the station logs for overlooked details. As she leaves, Sonia is aware that more thorough investigation is needed to uncover the true reason for the attack. Sonia checks with Corsi, the security chief, who informs her that the place is safe with strong shields and surveillance, but there are no signs of forced entry, fighting, missing ships, or damage beyond the holes found. Corsi rules out looting or intentional killing, noting no bombs, traps, or hidden searches. Sonia appreciates Corsi's thoroughness and learns about the complexities of security, including anticipating an opponent's motives. Frustrated by the possibility of a revenge-driven assailant, Sonia asks to be kept updated. Fabian and Fernats move from hole to hole, checking readings as they go. Inside a building, they avoid a body missed by Corsi's team and enter rooms marked by damage from phaser fire on their locks, except for one undamaged door. Fabian contacts Corsi, who confirms she blasted open all locked doors during her sweep, except the one already unlocked. Fabian, relieved, thanks her and ends the call. Fernats finds the corrosion readings consistent, while temperature readings suggest this hole appeared first. Fabian notices a difference in the ridges of the holes, indicating their formation order. Fabian examines the room and notices an odd detail. He points out to Fernats the lack of anything significant on a particular wall, emphasizing its emptiness. This observation appears to hold importance in their investigation, prompting further consideration of their surroundings. The team gathers in the observation lounge on the Da Vinci, where Fabian, the tactical expert, excitedly presents his findings. He analyzed the holes in Acid Camp and identified that they were caused by a rapidly rotating object, like a giant drill bit. This object moved so fast that it left jagged edges in the metal without bending it. The team speculates that this could be linked to mining activities in the camp. Fabian continues by showing a simulation of the holes appearing in sequence. This simulation reveals that the holes were created by a single, fast-moving object that zigzagged through the camp, avoiding the power station to prevent explosions. The team concludes that there was only one attacker, and this object was ricocheting off the camp's shields until it disabled the shield emitter and exited the station. The team discovers that the attack originated from inside the camp. The first hole was an exit hole from a workroom belonging to a scientist named Vreet Dat Madler, a Cyclarian who had been stationed at Bor Situ Minor for 11 months. They find that one of the bodies was Cyclarian, identified by its unique tentacle-like digits. Sonia praises the team's efforts and assigns tasks to investigate further. Kieran is to examine the workroom and gather information about the scientist and his work. Solomon will research Vreet Dat Madler's background, and Fabian, along with Patty, will determine the size of the object. The team is motivated to continue their investigation with these new insights. Fabian, Duffy, and Patty stand in the workroom, discussing how it was unlocked. Fabian confirms it was the only unlocked room in the building and mentions that Corsi had to blast through the other doors. Duffy identifies the room as Madler's private workspace and notes that the locks use unique codes, inaccessible to the central computer except in emergencies. They speculate someone might have been after the scientist's work and begin searching the room. Patty discovers a 3-meter square object with a hollow half-sphere center on one of the work tables. Fabian examines it, identifying it as a possible cradle with power couplings. Patty measures it with her tricorder, confirming it matches the size of certain holes they found. Duffy suggests they need blueprints or logs, and they realize a computer is missing. Fabian finds a hidden drawer containing several large sheets of paper and a book, suspecting they hold the answers they seek. He contacts their commander for further instructions. Fabian informs Sonia over the comlink that they found a journal written by the scientist Madler, who kept detailed notes. However, the journal is handwritten in an unreadable language, and the engineering diagrams they found are similarly incomprehensible. Madler did not record his notes digitally, making their task more challenging. Despite the difficulty, they discover some tools and a cradle for a device, but lack clear information about its purpose or operation. Sonia, reassured that the device doesn't pose an immediate threat, instructs Fabian to bring the journal and other findings to her. She aims to decipher the information with the help of Falwell to understand the device, its impact on the outpost, and how to prevent future incidents. The team remains hopeful but aware of the daunting task of translating the critical handwritten notes. Bart Falwell is excited to work on a handwritten journal, reminiscent of his time decoding enemy communications during the Dominion War. However, the SCE crew's frequent checks on his progress add pressure. Bart explains to Commander Gomez, Duffy, and his roommate Fabian Stevens that translating an unfamiliar language like Seclarian is a time-consuming process, as it involves identifying repeating patterns and deciphering the alphabet. Privately, Bart admits he's clueless on where to start. Translating languages typically involves using computer programs to find patterns, but the Cyclarians' reclusive nature means there's little to no data on their language. The journal, a dark leather book with a swirl embossed on the front, is filled with writing that looks like ink blots rather than letters or pictograms, making the task even more challenging. Carol Abramowitz, a cultural specialist and Bart's close friend, visits and offers her insights on the Cyclarians. She shares that their language is rarely seen as they adopted Federation standards for public use, but still retain their heritage for private matters. Carol's information about the Cyclarians' tentacular digits and their cultural interest in aquatic activities, along with their use of ink from Aesturip, an octopus-like creature, gives Bart a crucial breakthrough. Realizing that the Cyclarians write in circular patterns, Bart identifies the swirls as their method of writing. Each swirl starts in the center and spirals outward, with related thoughts overlapping. This discovery allows Bart to understand the journal's structure and the sheer amount of information contained in each swirl. Energized, Bart dives back into his work, determined to decode the journal. Bart and his team gather in the briefing room to discuss the newly decoded journal. Bart excitedly explains that he and Carol have cracked the alien language, revealing that Vireet Deep Madler was developing a device to locate dilithium more efficiently. The device drills through rock to create tunnels and is highly advanced, designed to avoid hitting dilithium deposits to prevent explosions. Captain Gold and his crew probe deeper into the device's functionality and design. Fabian clarifies that the device is self-propelled and equipped with a sensor array to detect dilithium deposits from a distance, even through rock and metal. The device inadvertently activated, mistaking the camp's power plant for a dilithium deposit, which led to the disaster at the outpost. The team hypothesizes that the device was accidentally triggered and commenced drilling, eventually breaching the camp's shield. Once the shield was down, it likely moved on in search of more dilithium. Since the device is durable, it remains operational and poses a potential threat to any future restorations of the outpost. Commander Gomez takes charge, instructing the team to prepare for the retrieval of the device. They need to boost the shuttle's sensors, project its trajectory, and find a way to remotely contact it. Captain Gold supports her plan, indicating his trust in her leadership. Confident and organized, Gomez leads her team to tackle the next steps to secure the outpost's future safety. Patty reports that they have boosted the sensors by integrating several smaller ones into a larger array, allowing them to cut through the atmospheric disturbance. Sonia commends Patty and turns to Fabian, who has plotted the course and factored in weather patterns to pinpoint the target's location within 2 meters. Kieran explains they found a frequency that could recall the object, but it can't return to the workroom due to active shields. Lowering the shields is risky as it exposes the outpost, so they rule out the recall for now. Sonia decides they will shuttle down to retrieve the object manually. She organizes the team, assigning Corsi to the helm while she and Fabian will handle the retrieval. Sonia emphasizes the plan, ensuring everyone is clear before she and Fabian board the shuttle, ready to execute their mission. Sonia and her team are on a pair of shuttlecraft, descending uneventfully until a sudden shout from Kieran on comms breaks the quiet. He urgently instructs Sonia to tell the pilot, Corsi, to change their flight path immediately. Although confused, Sonia complies, and they redirect to an outbuilding instead of their original destination. Upon arrival, they find Kieran already there, who explains that they needed to avoid getting into range of the dangerous mining prototype that had gone into standby mode. The team learns from Kieran and Patty that the device is designed to shut down and conserve power if it doesn't detect a deposit within a certain time frame. However, if it detects a source, such as the warp engine on their shuttle, it will reactivate and target the source, posing a severe threat. Sonia and the team discuss their options, including ejecting the warp core or using shield generators to recall the device. But each solution has significant risks and drawbacks. Fabian suggests a risky but potentially effective plan, targeting the device with precision. They all look to the security chief, known for his targeting skills, to execute the plan. The security chief confidently asks what he needs to shoot, ready to take on the challenge to safely neutralize the threat. The team prepares for the crucial operation, with everyone confirming their readiness. Kieran activates the signal to recall a sensor device, and Patty detects its movement. Fabian ensures the shields are at full power, while Corsi stands by for action. As the device approaches, it hits the shield and rebounds. Corsi pinpoints its location and uses the transporters to catch it. Solomon confirms they have the device and removes its command board. With the mission successful, Sonia directs the team to return to their ship. Sonia returns to the Da Vinci and discusses the deactivation of the device designed by Madler with Captain Gold. The device was set to shut down if it got too close to dilithium deposits to avoid any explosions, a failsafe that worked when Corsi transported it to the Outpost power plant. The device, now safely deactivated, had been a risky tool, with jets for maneuvering and ridges for drilling through rock. Gold reflects on the tragedy of Madler's creation, noting the device was so well built, it led to the deaths of Madler and the Acid Camp crew. Kieran jokingly suggests shoddy work might sometimes be beneficial, to which Gold warns against subpar work on his ship. Gold then inquires about the cause of the disaster. Sonia explains that the only unlocked door at the outpost was Madler's, indicating that Stephen Cortez, a miner seeking quick riches, had likely tampered with the device, causing the fatal accident. Gold laments the needless loss of life due to Stephen Cortez's actions and praises Sonia for her team's efforts. When asked about the device's fate, Gold mentions he has contacted Starfleet for further instructions, expressing a desire to have it removed from the ship due to its deadly potential. Sonia agrees, reflecting the team's shared unease about the device. Fabian warns two officers about the sensitivity of the device they are transporting onto a shuttlecraft, advising them to keep it in a shielded room once reassembled. The officers seem in a hurry, possibly due to their ship being diverted from another mission to retrieve the device. Duffy and Fabian express concern over Starfleet Security's insistence on having both the device and its schematics, fearing a larger, potentially dangerous plan might be at play. The device, unlike conventional explosives, is undetectable and programmable to target specific objects or people, increasing its threat level. As they discuss their concerns, their conversation is interrupted by a call to the briefing room for the next assignment. Fabian tries to set aside his concerns about the device, focusing instead on the upcoming mission. Both men head to the lifts, ready to tackle the next challenge. Today's story ends here. This story was based on the novel The Riddled Post, written by Aaron Rosenberg. It is the 9th book in the Starfleet Corps of Engineers series. There is an affiliate link in the description to buy a copy. If you want to help us grow the channel, press the like button. If you want more tales every week, subscribe. To help us out more directly, consider buying our app Count Currency, published by Finespun Software. Count Currency is ideal for anyone who handles cash. It works entirely offline and takes less space on your device than a photo. Count Currency is made for iPhone and available on the App Store. This narration was created with voice synthesis from OpenAI. Join us every Sunday for another adventure with the crew of the Da Vinci. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.